You are listening to the Gritty Podcast, where we talk about all things gritty. Hello, friends. Welcome to the Gritty Podcast. I am Brian Call, and I am joined by Brad Hunt here. And those of you who are watching can see that I am encased in a glorious down cocoon known as the Peax Solace 15 down sleeping bag.
Yeah. Brand new.
Boom. Did you see that? Hey, folks that are watching, check this out. Look at this. Wah, oh, the arms are out of the bag. All right. Enough joking around. We're going to talk about this sleeping bag. And Peax just launched it today. In fact, we're a little behind the 8 ball.
We are.
Somehow I missed the memo. It was going out today.
I didn't get a text either.
Dude, I've been playing with the sleeping bag for, I want to say, 2 years now or something in development.
Yeah, almost.
And a lot of folks have texted me today asking questions about it. It's time to do a podcast. Since I'm probably the foremost expert on its use,
yes,
I kind of hold the unless Peax got it out to a few others, but I was definitely from ground up working on this for a couple of years.
Yep.
So I want to talk about it and arm you with some information. Hopefully you find it useful. I'm going to go ahead and take this off my head. All right, I've used this sleeping bag in Alaska in super wet conditions. I've used it in below freezing, above 8,000-10,000 feet in the mountains. We've used it basically in every condition possible, tested it many ways. As you all know, who have followed the podcast for a while, I really can't stand sleeping bags that are not roomy. They're miserable, especially if you get all sweaty. If you're backpacked in far, you're going to be out for 10 days in a row. Sometimes we're out 15 days without ever coming home. You don't have access to a lot of showers. You get sticky and sweaty and nasty. Yep. And one of the things I cannot stand is a sleeping bag that presses my legs together as well as my manly parts, and they can't breathe. I'm sweaty, and the bag reeks.
Yep,
I'm with you. Room. So,
some of you haven't noticed, we don't have much thigh gap.
There are other, correct. And I have some stout hammies.
Yep.
Quads. So I wanted to, you know me, I complain about most of the sleeping bags on the market because they just aren't wide enough and roomy enough. Every sleeping bag manufacturer seems to be pursuing, first of all, not bags that are warm enough, but if they are, they're pursuing lightweight to the point that there's no comforts in the bag. It's just mummy and tight. We wanted a bag that was built for hunting, that could cover tons of bases, and that was a one bag, does it all kind of bag. Yep. So one of the features, and I'm just going to kind of go through the list here. All right, folks, I hope you're enjoying the podcast. We're going to take a quick minute to tell you about our Gritty Movie Night, which is happening on February 17th, the week of the Hunt Expo. If you're going to be up here in Salt Lake City for the Hunt Expo, come and join us. It's a Saturday night. It's going to be a fun night. There's prizes. We got Leupold. We got Weatherby coming. Peax equipment. There might be a sleeping bag. We're going to give away a ton of stuff there. Here's the teaser. Hope to see you there. It's going to be awesome.
My goodness, what an animal.
One of the main features, as you can see, are the baffles for your arms to come out the side of the sleeping bag. Well, you guys know I like to glass from my sleeping bag on occasion. sometimes it's miserable. It's so cold. It's, -5 and you're out there trying to glass for mule deer, whatever, with the wind ripping in your face. We wanted a bag that you could actually climb inside of and use like a jacket. And so the hood comes over the top. You can tighten it right here. Your arms can come out the baffle. It's super simple. Arms tucked back in inside. The thing about the baffles, the concern we had was, will cold air just draft in?
Yeah.
And can you, do these things really work? And dude, the final product is legit. They close right up, and they're just right there for the ready to put your arms out. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. You got the hood, and it can go up just like a jacket. So you can wear your jacket, put this thing on, and climb inside and have double the comfort.
Right.
When you're glassing, you're sitting still. You're not moving very much, and so that lack of movement, lack of blood flow, it's really easy to get cold. That was a key feature.
And you can tuck that hood away, too. You don't want the hood? Tuck it away.
Yes. There's a little bit of a reinforced sort of water repellent material on the foot box right here. It's fairly water resistant, and it keeps the down from getting too wet. One of the things inside of a teepee, single wall, we often are in really cold weather. Our fire will be going. It'll be 75, 80 degrees in there. The outside temperature will be very cold. The inside, when the fire burns out, will turn to ice, and our condensation, our breath, will collect on the tent walls. We'll start a fire in the morning. It'll rain like the Amazon rainforest inside for the first 5 minutes as everything melts. In the meantime, your foot box sometimes has been against the wall of the tent because you slide down, especially if it's downhill, and you're up against that. Well, all the condensation rolling down the sidewall of the tent hits your foot box, wicks up your foot box, and you get soaking wet inside. The foot box goes flat, and then you're cold.
Cold toes.
Not an issue anymore because the material on this does a phenomenal job at keeping water from getting to the down.
Yep.
It's awesome.
It's good.
The other thing that I love about that is one of my contributions was there's not enough down. There's not enough down. Add more
cold
down.
Feet.
Add more down.
Cold feet.
I hate sleeping bags that don't have a good amount of down in the foot box. It's critical. And I wanted a sleeping bag that I could spread my legs. Like my knees are out right here.
Yep.
I got all this space. And I'll show you in the zipper here, boom, there's my legs are spread open. There's plenty of room. And that's critical for comfort. Same with the foot box. I want my feet not to be forced together at the bottom where it tapers too much.
Yeah.
So the foot box allows everything to be apart and relaxed. You can spread your legs. You can spread your feet. But with that, the foot box can be notoriously known for being too cold because
it's too big.
It's too big, and you have to heat that space up. But if you put more down in the foot box, which manufacturers don't want to do, your feet will stay warm.
Exactly.
In spite of the fact that the foot box is large. So all of that's theoretical. And so the question is, did it actually perform? Were you actually warm in such a large bag? Was there enough down distributed in the right spots? Mm-hmm. And does it keep the water out? Answer is yes. It is the best sleeping bag I've ever used. It's rated for 15 degrees. Handles that easily. It could go colder.
Yeah.
And with that said, what happens when it's only 40 degrees or 50 degrees outside?
You run it my favorite way, like a quilt.
You can run it like a quilt, which is Brad's
I'm a quilt guy.
Messed up. No, the quilt actually has its place.
Yes.
Quilts are, I love to lay on my air pad direct.
Yep.
Like I like the rectangle Thermarest.
Yep.
That's the X-Therm. I like the rectangle because I like to spread my feet out, and I like to be able to not lay inside because down is hot on your back in the summer.
Yep.
And so I can lay straight up on my wide rectangle Thermarest air pad.
Yeah.
And then I can turn this into a quilt, which I will show you in a moment, and just drape it on top of me.
Yep.
And I'm much cooler and can tolerate the warmth of such a big warm bag.
Exactly.
So
now,
it's so versatile for that.
Correct. The downside to a lot of quilts, like the quilt I have, I've loved it, but when it gets super cold, when I do have to close it up, it's super tight around the body. It's like a mummy bag almost, where this, you have the best of both worlds. You have a quilt and you have a super roomy down bag.
Correct. So it makes it so versatile because we really wanted to have that sleeping bag that could act as a quilt for those hot days, as well as when it's super cold, have a roomy, warm bag.
Yep.
It can be used for glassing. It's got water resistant areas. Now, one of the hardest things I find with sleeping bags is temperature. I can't fall asleep when it's too hot, and I can't fall asleep when it's too cold.
Right.
So managing the heat in a sleeping bag is, I think, really critical. And this is where this is genius because, like we said, when it's super cold, when it's super hot, you can use it as a quilt. But let's say it's kind of in between. It's not quilt weather.
You want to cover up a little more.
Yes.
But not everything. Zip tight.
Today, I wear pants that are a little thicker but have vent zips. Vent zips are far more efficient than a lightweight pant that is too cold when it's cold, and I have no scalability options for when I want it to be warmer, right? But if you can have zips and vents, that's massive. Well, that's why I wanted the 3-way zip, which was my contribution and the thing I fought for. Okay, so right here, I have this. This is more sleeping bags should have this. First of all, I wanted the top zip because I want to be able to lay in my sleeping bag and just splay it open on the top and let the heat come out if I need to. I also know from experience that when you lay on your back and you zip this thing up, you see if I can zip it up a little bit higher so it's late, and I zip it up around here, but I want to vent it. So I can pull the bottom zipper up to maybe my knees or my crotch, and I can adjust the size of basically a vent to let heat out right here. I could do two. I could have one right down here around my knees, let a little heat out, and then I can just undo the top and let it hang open a little bit on a warmer night, on a warmer hunt. And now I have a vent here in the middle and a vent here. I can sleep perfectly because I can almost get the temperature.
You can really regulate that temperature.
Totally.
Because your center core in your body and kind of mid-body is really what generates that heat. And there's absolutely no way to regulate that when you're zip tight in a mummy bag, is so called. Yep.
And some mummy bags, they allow you to unzip it from the bottom. Yeah. So you only have the option of something right down here from the very bottom, like right there. But you can't adjust the size of it. It's down by your feet too, which is typically not where I'm overheating. I'm overheating around the midsection.
Mid-body.
And so, and then being able to open it from the top, again, I can lay down in it. Let me get my arms out here, which isn't that hard, actually. The arms are shockingly easy to use, these armholes. And I can lay back inside of it like this. The other reason that a top zipper is legit is because, boys and girls, sometimes it's cold outside, the storm is a-raging, and I just want to take a leak. And I just want to roll over in my floorless shelter and just go inside like a water bottle or something, or an old
freeze-dried meal bag
or something.
We got some tips and tricks.
I just want to pee right out without even climbing out of my sleep bag. But here's another option too. When you're glassing, because of the 3-way zipper system, you can unzip the bottom. You can pull your legs out. Right. So there's a lot of times in the morning where I would put my arms in through my sleeping bag, like so. You know, I'm in my sleeping bag, and I can be fully ensconced. I just pop my arms out. I'm sitting there like this, and I just go, okay, arms out. And then I can unzip the bottom, pull this up like so. I stand up, and I slip on my Crocs, and I walk outside, and I take a leak. I didn't even get on my sleeping bag. I shake her off, go back inside, climb back onto my, lay back down and tuck my feet back inside my sleeping bag, and I'm good to go. The other thing that's cool about this is you can take this piece of it, tuck it up inside like so, right? And it's like I have another jacket on. I can sit down and I can glass without my legs actually being inside the bag. If I have boots on and
Muddy
gaiters
boots or
and they're
whatever.
wet and all of that, maybe I don't want to do that. Well, that's fine. You can just pull it out. You could put it right here above on your legs, kind of like so. And then you got your feet out like so. Bag is versatile.
Yep.
Like that. So I love the zipper. I love the top zip setup. I think it vents the best. I think it's easiest to get in and out of. Now, one of the things that we all can't stand, those of us who have done a lot of camping, is sleeping bag zippers that get caught.
Correct.
You know, Western Mountaineering has a great system. I think one of the best.
Yep. I'd agree.
For not getting caught. We looked at something like that, but in the end, what we ended up going with are these, I don't even know what they're called, Brad, but
it's basic. What do they call it? Actually,
made
let me
by
look
somebody
here.
that have it legit figured out. But these zippers, they're designed not to catch the material.
Yep.
And they don't. Like, I can just zip and unzip with impunity without my zipper constantly getting caught and stuck on something.
It's just called an anti-snag slider.
Well, it is. It's legit. I love
It's good.
the zipper.
It's very good.
So we got that covered as well. Like I said, it goes over your head like a jacket.
Mm-hmm.
So it can actually, it's unlike a mummy bag where it sort of, you just pull a string.
Correct.
This actually has down that shapes your head. And it's important that it fits like that so your arms articulate out the bag
Exactly.
in the right way as well. Yeah. If you get it right on your head, it's right for your arms and all that. There's plenty of room. It's very roomy. Let me show you the quilt aspect of it.
It's my favorite feature because I'm like almost until I get into like 10, close to 0 degree weather, then I start zipping up like a bag. Other than that, I'm running it like a quilt almost always.
You're crazy. But for those that when it's really warm in the spring during bear season, I do like to have a quilt. Yeah. So this is great. By the way, the hood, I think I mentioned it earlier, but it has this pull string system. So the hood goes snug around your head perfectly. Yep. But you can just roll up this hood like so. And it tucks in right here. Little Velcro is on the, and you can go to the Peax website and you can see, I'm sure, some of these features.
Yes, exactly.
And it basically, it goes right in here. And I think I have the final version. If there's some updates to it, there might have been.
They're very minuscule.
Minimal. Okay.
Minimal.
So it acts as a quilt. You just unzip it. You can toss your feet in the bottom if you want to.
Yep.
And it just comes up around you like this, like a blanket. And folks, it just splays out like a down blanket.
Down quilt.
It's awesome. And man, it's just easy to use. Yep. So it's got down. It's still lightweight, but it is a bag that covers all of our bases.
Yeah. Well, even as the quilt, like the problem with the quilt sometimes is if you got to reach for something, you got to flip your whole quilt over. You can just pop your arms out of the armholes, even as it's ran as a quilt, and then you can still easily grab it, and your bag's not flipping open or over.
That's true. I bet you can use it as a
very much so.
If you were to glass, just with like a blanket on.
Yep.
Don't even put it around your head. Just kind of.
Yep. Something to cut the wind over your body.
You could keep your boots exposed and just drape it.
Yep.
Over top.
It's like if you need to grab your pot right here, your water or whatever, you don't even have to throw the quilt off of you. You just boop, hands are out.
Drink your hot chocolate glass. Yeah, Ryan and I had this when we were in Alaska on our moose hunt.
Yep.
Which that film is dropping on February 17th.
Yep. It's
called It's Just Work. You'll see the sleeping bag in action. It's myself, Brady Miller, and Ryan Lampers on a DIY awesome backpacking moose hunt, folks.
Yes. Don't
had
see
the
many of
gall
those.
to do it, and it's awesome. If you want tickets to the movie night, you're going to be here for the Hunt Expo. Go check that out. We have links below. Tickets, hopefully they go pretty quick. If we do sell out, we're going to do a second showing.
Second showing, same night.
Same night. So if you're interested, check that out. Again, it's going to be cool.
Seats-
When I make these movies, I want people to see them
Exactly.
in a big screen setting.
Yep.
Epic 4K, full size. I want it to have surround sound, lights down low. I want it to be an awesome movie experience. There's tons of prizes, lots of cool raffles.
Yep. And again, seats are limited because the changeover of the theaters, there's not that many seats compared to the 300 and 400 seats that we used to have.
Yeah.
In those movie nights. So tickets
Seats
are limited.
But you can check that out. It's on Eventbrite.
Yep.
We provided the link in the teasers. We'll put links below, too,
Correct.
in the description field of our YouTube video, so you can check that out there and get tickets if you're interested. But Brady Miller was using this on that hunt. He used it a couple of mornings to glass from and just to test it because Ryan and I were living in ours. And there was a strong amount of jealousy being had on his behalf, and he was running a sleeping bag that we've used in the past. It's great. I don't want to, disparage another brand, but I'll tell you, this sleeping bag, it dominates.
Yeah. And
It
after
dominates.
that hunt, Brady got with Bryce, and he had one for the whole rest of the fall season. And he's in love with it.
There are issues with, I guess what we were trying to do as Ryan and I, we kicked off each other,
Yeah.
What do you think? And Ryan brought to the table more and more down for the foot box as well.
Right.
Even though his feet don't get cold like mine typically do
You both are getting old.
when
You
I
get
go to
cold.
sleep. But it's a very wide ranging temperature capable bag.
Absolutely.
If you have a teepee, there's not a hunt in the last 2 years I have not used this sleeping bag.
Correct.
And we have hunted in negative temperatures.
Yes.
And I didn't buy a different bag than this. There were a couple times where I put on my down pants when I went to sleep.
Yep. But those were the early iterations of the early prototypes.
True.
When there was not the down. We were still in the testing phase of that.
True.
So
Since then, I haven't used it. It was just on that hunt with Eli and Mark Livesey where
Yep.
it was
we got into the negative
so
temps.
cold.
Yep.
And that was early on. I don't know yet, but I've been in similar temperatures with this bag close, not that cold, but below zero.
Yeah.
And it has. I haven't needed a different bag. I think that with a teepee and stove, you can get away with 15-degree bag like 100% of the time. I don't think we need a 0 degree or those negative temperature bags anymore.
And I've been running up until this. I've been running the 0 degree quilt, but again, that's because when we are in those super cold temperatures, I didn't want to have to change my bag to something else.
Yeah.
It's one and done, and this is exactly that. Like it is by far.
Folks, I got to tell you.
Like extreme temperatures, I think it's rated for minus 22 in extreme temperatures. Obviously, to each person's their own because every person's a little different on how they generate heat and regulate heat too.
Negative 22?
Negative 22 degrees on the extreme side. So even have it. Let me pull it
it
up.
keeps you alive?
Yep.
Or keeps
so
you
it says,
comfortable?
Here's your temperature rating. It says comfort 25 degrees Fahrenheit. Lower limit 13 degrees. Extreme minus 22 degrees. So
look, like I said, it's kept me warm on every single super late season, freezing cold. We were in some of those trips like with Kym and Ryan for 16 days too, and they crushed in that, and that was some cold weather.
It was cold.
Blizzarding snow and so on. So it's also versatile in the sense that we used it in the springtime when it was super hot.
Exactly.
And using this as a quilt, it was great because you can just kind of kick it off and use it kind of to the side.
Kick a leg out.
Yes, it's nice. And then the way that it wicks away the down in this foot box, I mean, look how big that foot box is. It is so good. It is so good. So the last thing is being able to use it for glassing. It really is. I'm kind of a weenie on those early mornings. Brady too.
Yeah. Brady's
doesn't have a lot of meat
bean
on his
pole.
bones. And he actually sat there in that thing. He's like, oh, man, this is nice. And you're just glass and Alaskan bush as far as you can see, grizzlies and moose and cold morning in the shadows and the shade. Wind is blowing and being able to just sit there inside this sleeping bag and just be comfortable.
Yeah.
His sleeping bag it's been through the one he's currently using, which isn't the Peax. It's pretty flat.
Yep.
Continues to get flat. It hasn't held up very well.
Right.
It's okay. I've used it in the past. I don't like the cut, but I've used Western Mountaineering. The Badger has been a go-to bag
Great bags.
for a while.
Mm-hmm.
This is better.
It is.
This is just better. Especially comfort-wise, man, being able to spread open. And, another thing that I'll do is when there's air and it's open in your bag, you can put some damp pants in there, and you can wear some things in there where it's not as uncomfortable. No, it's a great sleeping bag. I think we belabored it quite a bit. Go to peaksequipment.com and check it out.
Yep.
Just got launched. I don't know. Supplies are limited as usual.
They are limited. They will have them at the expo as well.
But again, don't sell out before.
Supplies are probably limited. So
they sell out. They had the headlamp last year and they sold out before the expo. Had to get a whole new group. So check it out. Use the code GRITTY at Peax as always, and you will save. And that's it, folks.
Yep. Comes in 3 different sizes.
If you got some questions, drop them in the comment section of our YouTube videos. We try to play in those comments and respond as much as possible.
Yep. And sometimes
the best way to get a hold of us is
it may be faster. Instead of just leaving us a comment, go to the Peax website as well and check it out for yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Save you some time.
Use the code GRITTY. Don't forget about our movie night, February 17th. Come and see the movie. It's just work. Links below. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next episode. Stay gritty.